Welcome back to another 2019 video. If you're seeing this video around the time it was uploaded, it means I am or was out of town. I didn't want to leave the channel dry for a week, so I thought it would be a good idea to get a quality content creator who covers a similar genre to make a guest appearance here on the channel. So today's video is a bit special, covering a Star Wars MMORPG, and there's no way I could have done a better job than Hero because I have no history with the game, and to be honest, I'm also not the biggest Star Wars fan. However, Hero goes back with this game, so I think it's only right to have someone like him show us whether or not Star Wars The Old Republic is worth playing in 2019. Also keep in mind, this video won't follow the same style as my previous 2019 videos, because obviously, it's not me creating it, and why have someone else repeat the same thing I usually do? So let's spice things up a bit.
Have you ever been a Star Wars fan, but haven't had a Star Wars game to call your home since Star Wars Galaxies? Or are you a person who isn't a Star Wars fan, but would like to try a Star Wars game that gives you a lot of freedom of choice, and gives you a little bit more freedom to kind of tailor how your storyline ends up? Well, today I'm here to tell you that there is an MMO that does just that. And that MMO is called Star Wars The Old Republic. Now, this is a game that I feel like a lot of people didn't give a chance, either based on the fact that they had other MMOs to play, or they were people who were just really not a Star Wars fan. But I feel like every Star Wars fan has at least tried this game, or gave this game a chance. So for you guys out there, we'll be talking about if you should come back to the game. But if you're one of those people who have never played Star Wars The Old Republic, well, today we're going to be talking about why you should at least give it a try in 2019. And today I am your host, Hero, and Cryy is currently away, so he asked me to go ahead and make this video for him. Plus, he's one of those guys who aren't really a Star Wars fan either, and hopefully my video can convince him to try it. So without further ado, let's get started. So if I piqued your interest even a little bit and you decide to jump into the game, one big thing to really state is that this game is subscription based. However, the free-to-play model for it is rather different compared to other subscription-based games that people usually play like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, which both of those games will limit you by how far you can get within the story. So for World of Warcraft, you can only go up to like level 20, I believe, and then for Final Fantasy, you can only go up to level 35. However, you're able to get every class within that game to level 35. Now, with Star Wars The Old Republic, when you go free-to-play, you're able to play every single class to level 50, with level 50 being the end of the story arc for that class. And there are 8 classes, with 4 of those being on light side and then 4 of those being on dark side. Now, the big reason why saying 8 classes is very important is because each class has a completely different storyline than the next. The voice acting would be different, the personalities will be different, and the player interaction with the NPCs will be different. And even with that being said, just because you pick a faction that says dark side doesn't mean you have to be dark side. You can even try to pull the neutral route, or you can be a light side, dark side character, which is really what makes SWTOR great, because that decision is literally left up to you. Now let's go ahead and jump back to the classes for a second. So for each faction you have 4 classes. For the Republic you have Jedi Knight, Jedi Counselor, Trooper, and then Smuggler. And then for the Empire you have Sith Warrior, Sith Inquisitor, Bounty Hunter, and then Imperial Agent. The thing to remember with this is that each class will basically mirror each other. However, the animations will be dramatically different than each other, and as mentioned before, the storylines will be dramatically different from each other. On top of that, each class has 2 specializations to choose from, which will dramatically change the class. And within those specializations, you also get 3 roles. So for example, if you end up picking the Sith Warrior, you get 2 choices between specializations. One of them being the Sith Juggernaut, which comes with 3 roles. You have 2 damage roles, one being AoE oriented, and the other one being single target oriented. And then you have another role which is for tanking specifically. Then you have the Sith Marauder being the other specialization, which also enables you to dual wield lightsabers. On top of that, you do get 3 damage roles to choose from, one of them being more single target oriented, one being more AoE damage oriented, and one being more based around bleeding your opponent. So when it comes to trying to figure out what you want to play, you have a lot of time to figure that out. Plus, they kind of changed how things work. So in the past, you had to grind to level 10 and then choose a specialization. But instead, they just made it where you can just start off as a specialization from the get-go. You either start off as Juggernaut, try out the 3 roles, see if you like it, and then if you don't like it, just switch to Marauder, and then try out the 3 roles, see where you fit, and then just continue moving. And that's kind of the same for every single class within the game. But if you want to change specializations, you do have to make another character, which is probably the only downside when it comes to that. Now, if you are one of those people who are sold so far and you're like, alright, I want to jump into this game as a free-to-play player. The only downside of free-to-play is that convenience items are kind of not there. Like, they're basically non-existent. But if we're being honest here, there was a time period where I didn't have money to actually buy a subscription, and I used to play free-to-play all the time. It didn't really hinder me all that much, except for the limited amount of war zones that I could take part in, which is PvP. Didn't like the credit cap that they had, which is money in SWTOR, which now is 1 million, which is way better than what it was in the past. And if I remember right, there's a certain type of mission reward cap, which basically means if there was purple gear, which would be really good gear, you just wouldn't be able to collect that. However, it doesn't mean that, you know, you won't be able to progress throughout the storyline because you're not a subscribed player. It just means that really strong gear that would make you steamroll PvE, that just won't be available to you. Now, if you do end up subscribing to Star Wars: The Old Republic, I will let you know that you have 9 expansions to look forward to. And I'm not gonna lie to you, for a game that's fully animated and fully voice acted, these expansions just get better and better, with their current expansions being the top of the line. However, the more and more content they come out with, it feels more like an RPG rather than an MMORPG, since you're able to solo a lot of this content. Now, speaking of content, there is group content as well. There are flashpoints, basically dungeons, which are 4-man, and you also have 8-man operations, which are basically raids. So you have a lot of group content to do other than just doing this storyline. And speaking of the storyline, you are able to do that with the group as well. However, you really won't have a say within the conversations when it comes to the main story, because obviously that main story arc isn't your arc, it's your friend's arc. So you're kind of just sitting there and just watching it unfold. However, if you're doing a flashpoint or you're doing a side quest with a group of friends, you basically roll, and whoever gets the highest roll basically engages in the conversation. And you also get rewarded for being in these situations, so that's also pretty cool. So based off of everything I've said so far, there's a lot of PvE options out there for you, and a lot of story content, and there's also PvP to look forward to. Actually, I don't know if you can still look forward to that. It's been a very long time since I've touched PvP. Actually, let's go jump into a PvP match, and let's see if it's still the same. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm feeling completely disrespected that this man is trying to go to grass. As if I'm not coming over here. There's gotta be a second guy here. Yeah, gamer intuition right there, baby. Alright, what spec is my teammate? Because I don't think we'll... Oh, he's a tank? Oh, we're winning this fight, baby. Let's go. Got your back if you got my back. Now, I don't remember my rotation all that much. Like, I think I'm doing good so far, but I know it's not optimal. We can definitely win this. Come on. I'm so close to death. Alright, there's one down. We gotta kill this Sith assassin. It's a baby assassin, though. Like, it's murder time, baby. Like, it's easy. Come on. You're still alive? Oh my god, can you just die? Like, we'll put rest in peace on your coffin. Thank you. Oh shit, there's a third? Oh, you are a bitch. So after 2 years of not playing Star Wars: The Old Republic PvP, I gotta say it's still the same. Except for the fact that they added a couple of maps, it's still the same. But it's fun. It's definitely fun. It's definitely something that makes me kind of want to come back just to PvP alone. Now, there's also ranked PvP. There's also Galactic Starfighter, which is a different variation of PvP, but it's in space. However, in order to play this game mode, more than likely you'll end up having to get a group of friends to try it out, or you'll probably have to find a Discord server that's completely dedicated to Galactic Starfighter, since the PvP type isn't really everyone's cup of tea. So that basically sums it up for PvP. You know, it's fun, it's cool. However, there are a lot of game types for PvP. I think the best one that's the most memorable is Huddaball, which basically allows you to play football but in a MMO on top of killing each other. It's kind of cool. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If you ever get to try that game mode, you'll probably enjoy it. except for the one on Kesh, because no one likes that one. Now I think we're at the part of the video where I answer that question for you. Should you play Star Wars: The Old Republic in 2019? And the answer for that question is a yes. The reason I say yes is because it is an MMO that is fully voice acted and tells an amazing story, and the PvP is still active. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll fall right at home. However, if you're not a Star Wars fan, I feel like this would be a good entry for you due to the fact that it's very far from how the movies portray Star Wars. On top of that, it's a completely different era, so the way people get things done in the Old Republic versus how people get things done in the new era, they're dramatically different. And with that alone, I think it's worth exploring. However, that could be because I am a Star Wars fan, and maybe I sound a little biased, I don't know. But what I do know is that I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did like this video, definitely consider liking this video and subscribing to Cryy. And if you want to see more content from me, hopefully there'll be a link down in the description just for that, or in the comment section, or at the end of this video. There's so many options, it's beautiful. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.